Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, one of the most iconic hack and slasher eater out and smasher titles of 2013. I'm not gonna lie, this game gets my dick pretty fucking hard, so let's talk about why it's peak. The game's combat is fluid and satisfying, as well as being easy to pick up and understand. It is quite button mashy, and you can pretty easily just get away with abusing the X and Y buttons, but to get the most out of the combat system, as with any game, learning how to effectively utilize it will get you way more mileage. What sets the game apart from other hack and slash titles is the Zandatsu system, in which Raiden enters a slowed state, allowing him to make more precise cuts, often finishing the movement by ripping out the spine of his cyborg victim, to then refill Raiden's health and electrolyte gauge. And he always says a super cool saying when he does it. It's a nice switch up to be able to heal yourself based on your performance rather than having to seek out healing items. It also prevents you from needing to use the repair nano paste, which is used to heal Raiden's health, in battles that are less difficult, allowing you to save them for boss battles or other challenging fights. While the combat does tend to be button mashy, there are absolutely moments where that just won't work. It encourages you to invest in the upgrade system, like with this heavy guy. I could not beat this motherfucker, and I was getting so angry. I'm like, okay, he does his move, misses. Can I go in and hit him? Nope. How about you go suck a dick? Okay, well, if he misses one of the big ones, I gotta be able to hit him, right? Nope. Gargle some cock. Like, Jesus, what the fuck do I do? So I look it up, and there's this dodge move you can buy that makes beating these guys like 1,000 times easier. So I buy it, slap it on, and bam, I'm slicing this dude up like his alimony payments. Jack the Ripper mode becomes unlocked after beating Monsoon, and it's honestly pretty fucking broken. It's pretty much a get out of jail free card because this thing will fuck up the Mastiffs, the T-Rex guys, the Geckos, all with ease. What makes this even more broken is the fact that it uses the same meter as your electrolyte gauge, so you can go ham in Jack the Ripper mode, get a couple hits, chomp down on some spines, and boom, you're at full again. You might be thinking, okay, well, it comes at the cost of your Zandatsu, which requires your electrolyte gauge to have at least one bar full. But it's the same scenario, just rack up some hits and you'll be back to normal. You also get access to each boss's unique weapon when you defeat them, like Mistral's hand staff thing or Monsoon's sai. I never found myself using these, to be honest, as Raiden's blade gets the job done fine, and you're never really encouraged to use these weapons either. There's never a bit where you like have to use your unique weapon because Raiden loses his blade or something like that. Apparently Monsoon's sai works well against Sundowner, but I wouldn't know that if I didn't look up how to beat the motherfucker. Why couldn't Doctor come on the line and be like, Raiden, I studied Monsoon sai and it looks like you could use it against the Sundowner. Like, nope, good luck Raiden, his shield is explosive to the touch, so maybe try cutting it. But they left out the part where Boris is like, hey, don't be a fucking idiot and try to enter Zandatsu mode while he's barreling towards you. Anyways, in terms of defense, the parry system is satisfying and pretty rewarding. Though don't be like me and stay in Ninja Run when trying to parry, because that either doesn't work or you need to be fucking frame perfect with that shit. If you're not in Ninja Run though, you can pretty much spam X while holding the analog stick in the direction of the enemy and parry like every hit. Raiden and his crew all have unique and interesting personalities. Throughout the game, if you don't skip the codec calls, you can understand each character deeper through conversations held between Raiden and his team. I like this because when Raiden decides to start going rogue, his team doesn't just blindly follow him. I mean, in the grand scheme of things they do, but initially they express doubt and concern, which is like something an actual person would do. There's also this little bit of Courtney's cup being really close to the edge and Kevin keeps having to move it, which is pretty funny. I like how character development is directly tied to your in-game progression, like Raiden embracing his true nature, becoming Jack the Ripper, meaning you have Jack the Ripper mode unlocked. I found that the frequency of codec calls did get a little annoying, but they're almost always interesting or entertaining, so I can't complain too much. The bosses are one of, if not the most iconic thing about this game, with the cast of quotable, colorful, sadistic supervillains Raiden has to take down one by one, Mega Man 2 style. All of them have their own unique personalities and character traits that diversify the lineup. With each final codec call that's played once you defeat the boss, there's almost like an admission of their true feelings or some kind of message they have for Raiden, which is pretty cool because, again, it makes them feel like, you know, people.
But I know you will never fall.
What is this talk about?
To them. The two won't come.
Each of their boss fights are unique in how they're played, and some, like fucking Sundowner, are annoying as hell if you don't know how to deal with them. Like I talked about earlier, I don't know how someone would think, maybe Monsoon Sai would work against his shield, because Boris literally says, hey, don't touch it with your blade, but I guess a Sai isn't a blade, so maybe I'm just a fucking idiot. I was getting pretty fucking stumped. Like I said before, I thought that parrying was still doable in Ninja Run mode, so I was trying to parry his shield, but kept getting hit, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I look it up, and I find out you can parry his shield if you actually, you know, fucking parry correctly, and it removes the need to slice through his shield in Zendatsu mode like 15 fucking times. Probably because 80% of the time, the shield blows up anyway because my fucking ADHD brain needs time to confirm that I want to cut in this specific line, but the game just sticks its cock down my throat before I get the time to process it. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, Sam is probably the character with the most aura out of the cast, because you don't get to know too much about him until like pretty much after his death. There was that DLC that came out that you could play as him, but I never played that. So, but yeah, at the end of the game, he basically comes to the realization that the organization he's working for may actually be evil. So he's like, fuck it, here, Raiden, take my blade. Maybe it sounds a little weird when you put it like that. Armstrong is where the basis of the memes about this game really come from, with all his iconic lines leading up to the final boss fight. The music in the game is pretty perfect. The thumping guitar heavy tracks layered with the electric synths and angsty plot relevant vocals that, you know, you could read the lyrics and you're like, oh hey, that lines up actually with the character. While the music is memorable in itself, I think what makes the soundtrack so iconic and what led to it becoming so widely known by people who haven't even played the game is how it's used. Those needle drops are on point, but the real star of the show is when you've reached the climax of the battle and the vocals kick in. It has to be this way. It's got to be one of the greatest final boss themes of all time. And to this day, I get fucking shivers whenever Raiden's like, let's dance. And then it fades to black, you know, and then you proceed to do the boss in one attempt. And then, you know, you watch the credits, the game's over, man. Fucking congratulations. Yeah, not really. I definitely struggled a little bit with Armstrong. I was playing on fucking hard mode, okay? Don't judge me. Anyways, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is goated as fuck, and it's a stunningly successful detour for the Metal Gear franchise that they so far have not been able to replicate.
Making the mother of all omelets here, Jack. Can't fret over every omelet.